This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we review the 1992 Steven Seagal action flick Under Seige. Plus, big Disney CEO shocker, live-action Spider-Man spin-off shows coming to Amazon, Indiana Jones fights Nazis again, how big will Avatar 2 open, and more, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, November 21st, 2022.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and you're listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. Why? I don't know.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up.
We talking, we nerding. We funny, disturbing. We talking, we nerding. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hello, what's up, listener? Thanks for joining us. Welcome to the Jock and Nerd Podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name is Rug Boy.
He's the Rug Boy.
And he's the nerd.
Yes, we are without a jock this episode. It's going to be me and Rugs flying by the seat of our pants.
You got no Tony Baloney here.
No
today.
Tony Baloney, but you know what? I have a soundboard.
I stick it up my asshole.
So, unfortunately, I could do that to him, but you know.
I fucking loved it.
He will always, no, look, he was, the jock needs to rest. He was on a fun trip.
Yeah. I think he just flew in. He literally just got off the plane. I'm like, you could sit this one out, dude.
Yes, it's freezing here in Chicago. Meanwhile, he's on a beach somewhere.
But isn't that like the way it should be? You know,
Absolutely,
like,
because
we hide under the bridges, and then he gets to have all the fun.
Yes, everyone knows I live vicariously through Anthony. I don't need to do anything. I just have him do it, and then I'll look at his Instagram stories and ask some questions. That's good enough.
That's what
awesome.
the show all is.
That's really good.
About. Oh, and still I can't get a word in edge.
See?
All right. Well, yeah, that's what this show is all about. Tony being cool and you being around. And me being me.
That's our dynamic, and we're sticking with it. In the meantime, though,
Sure.
Look, Rugs, today we got a couple of fun things in the news and a fun 90s action movie to review.
Sure.
Let's do it.
The Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Well, boy, we got to start with big shocker over at Disney, Rug Boy.
Two in the pink, one in the stink.
That's not the shocker, but that's almost what happened to Disney, I guess. No, that doesn't make any sense.
It happened to Chapek. He got the
Yes,
shocker.
plot twist. Look, we record on Monday. Late last night, Sunday night, the news breaks that Bob Chapek, Disney CEO, is out.
Oh, shit.
And returning is Bob Iger, effective immediately. Wow.
I love a good Bob swap.
They swapped Bob's 2 years ago when Chapek got the job in 2020, and now they've swapped him back. I think this is going to make a lot of people happy. Do you know, what do you think? Because Chapek came from the parks side of Disney, and a lot of people weren't happy how he's handling the parks.
The COVID didn't do anything good for the parks.
No,
so that was a shit show.
Yeah.
And COVID ruined a lot of stuff. You'd expect that Disney's online stuff, like the app, would be big, but it wasn't. I think they lost money on the app, right?
Yeah, but they got they got 253 million subscribers now across all their things, so it was growing.
Right, but not to the level of the investors would like.
Yes.
So they're like, oh, they're getting skittish. They got to do something. They got to bring someone in to solve this problem. So they called Bob.
Bob, can you take over for Bob immediately? Yes, Bob.
Yes.
Bob's. Look, so Chapek, right out the bat, everybody loved Iger. We'll talk about what he did. Everybody knows Bob Iger. Chapek had a couple of missteps, couple of issues in his short, not even 3 years. Apparently, they just renewed his contract for 2 years in June and then just decided to fire him. It's crazy.
And then Iger's only coming back for 2 years.
Yeah, I think he signed a 2-year deal, so it's kind of an interim thing, but I think he's going to get a big bonus and stuff, and everybody loves Bob Iger. That's the thing. Bob Chapek, not great with the creative, not great with the talent. Something Bob Iger was very good at pushing the creative and having good relationships with your talent. Case in point, remember they put Black Widow out on streaming and the theater, and then ScarJo had to file a lawsuit because, you know, her contract was like supposed to get compensation or something. Remember all that?
Yeah.
And then he called her greedy and kind of didn't handle it well. So, and then mostly Wall Street, the Wall Street end of things.
I
not
heard that
living
there
up
was
to
going to
it.
be a bunch of layoffs at Disney too.
Well, that's what Chapek's plan was going to be a hiring freeze and some layoffs.
So that's not happening now?
I don't know. The thing is, Bob Iger is back. Everything will be better. Don't worry.
You really think that this is going to make a big difference?
In some people's pocketbooks, maybe. I don't know about creatively. I think the people working on the things are going to be happy also.
I think overall they lost money, 1 point something billion. What was the number?
I think they posted a higher than normal loss for the quarter. I think you're right.
So what does Bob Iger, I just called him Biger. What does Bob Iger do to like turn the ship around? Like what is it? I guess focusing more on the content and just creating good content. Is that it? Or is it like, that sounds like a very fluffy dream there.
Well, what did he do? Like does he, in his career, he bought them Lucasfilm and Marvel.
There's nothing left to buy.
And Pixar, yes, there's really nothing left to buy.
You're not getting Spider-Man. That's not happening.
Well, we'll talk about that. That's the other crazy news. But Chapek did get control of things at a crazy shit time, right?
Yeah. I feel like this is just a public thing that they have to do to show that Disney is reacting to the situation. So the investors don't get like crazy and be like, fuck Disney and sell all their shit.
I mean, from what I can read, a lot of people did. Bob Chapek rubbed them the wrong way, and they were not happy with the way things were and the kind of restructuring, and it was getting more corporate and away from like focusing on the creative. It's never bad to focus on the creative. I'll come back to that.
Oh, absolutely. That's what you lead with. Because if you don't have a solid product, then you're just selling people smoke.
And if you're like a Bob Chapek guy who's like, he was there to cut corners and save the money, you're not going to try any risky things with IP, but I feel like Bob Iger was always open to that. But again, he was in charge of Disney at their most fucking bountiful time, right? They're making billions of dollars, and all of a sudden, this is kind of convenient. He's like, I'm going to step out before this, before it goes bad.
I hope it works out. To me, Disney is kind of just going through the motions now, and they have all of this machinery in play. Like they have this online machine now that the app and all this stuff that you can do with Disney, and they've created this whole thing that didn't exist a couple of years ago. And so if they're just going to kind of like they've been doing, crank shows out for content and overwork the staff and the effects, and then none of that's gonna change. I don't think. They got to feed the beast.
Yeah, they're a bloated entertainment empire who rules parts of my life. But it's a lot. We can talk about MCU, Facebook. Like they're putting out maybe too many things, but I don't want to complain because I love the genre.
I feel like it's lost a little bit of something, but
listen, give Bob Iger 2 years. He will bring the glory back.
What was the last Bob Iger project? Because you're talking so much shit about Bob Iger. Like,
I mean, now you're gonna make me look it up.
What was the last? Was it Infinity War, and then he stepped out?
Well, he left entirely into retirement 2021, so it's been less than a year.
I would say Black Widow was his last thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, how much? Yeah, I just think people are happier. He has better relationship with people. You want someone that people.
He probably has the hookup. He has the hookup. He has the instinct of like what people want to see.
When he calls, people they're going to answer.
Yeah, so
he can get to certain people.
Things. He knows that much.
I think it's a positive thing. I think Bob Chapek just got his shit run at it. But hey, if you're going to go back to the Bobs, Bob Iger is the man. Listener, let us know what you think.
Yeah, he's clearly the winner.
He is the better Bobs. You can let us know what you think. You could join the conversation. Join our Facebook group. It's called Jock and Nerd Nation. There's a link in the description. It is closed, exclusive, just for you. just for us. Lots of fun stuff in there. Okay, well, let's go on to the other crazy news. You kind of alluded to it. Amazon has made a deal with Sony to do live-action Spider-Man spin-off shows, but without actual Spider-Man.
Oh, shit.
I believe. The first series under the deal will be Silk, Spider Society, which is going to be developed by Walking Dead showrunner Angela King, along with Lord and Miller, who gave us Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. They're going to be showrunners and executive producers. But they have, as you know, if you don't know, Sony has rights to 900 Spider-Man characters in their own thing called the Spider-Man universe, Sony's universe of Spider-Man characters, except for Spider-Man. I have so many questions about this, Ruggs. A reaction.
They're really positioning themselves so Disney doesn't want to fuck with them. That's basically what's happening.
This is my first question. Why does Sony make a deal with Amazon and not Disney, who you would think this is kind of like a fuck you? You know, Sony doesn't have a streaming service. They're still kind of freelancing out there. They're still wanted. They're selling their stuff, licensing it to whoever they can get it to. That's interesting. So what kind of a move is this to like, fuck you, Disney? You have Tom Holland. Yes, we also share him, but we're going to go up again. Because if you think about it, they'll be able to make edgier shows. It's not going to be a Disneyfied version of Silk or these other characters. Who knows what they're doing?
I don't think they care about what they make. I just think about they don't want to have to deal with Disney taking like the lion's share of money or paying Disney and or whatever it is that they're doing with Disney. I think they have to pay the studio like to make the movie.
I thought it would be the other way around though. Did Amazon offer Sony more money?
Probably,
you know,
Amazon's got tons of money, and they have something that Disney doesn't have. Is people ordering like fucking milk off of fucking Amazon. Like, you know, people are ordering everything: their underwear, their socks, fucking thumbtacks, like everything, medicine, like whatever, everything off Amazon.
I mean, I'm kind of excited for a live-action Spider-Man universe, even though it's Sony and there's no Spider-Man. Let's talk about Silk. You know, remember Silk? I know. This character created by your favorite Spider-Man writer,
Dan Slott,
and Humberto Ramos on art. It is describe Silk. Who's Silk?
Well, Silk was, I guess, a clone of Spider-Man or something, where they used Spider-Man's powers and created this girl, like using, I don't know, and does she have the same powers as him?
No,
she got bit by the same spider.
That's it. She's Korean American. She's not a clone. She was just a Korean American little girl who happened to be there, and the same spider, after biting Peter, goes and bites her, apparently.
Yes, that's what it is. When you ask me about Dan Slott creating things, like usually the first thing that pops in my mind is some kind of clone.
Yeah.
So like that's why I said that, but then it took me a second for like, oh no, that's not a clone. She got bitten by the same spider that Peter got bitten by. And they're linked through that spider, and they want to fuck each other for some reason.
Well, they did have this strange sexual attraction. Yes, that was kind of funny. But she was locked away in a box.
That's right, for like a long time, and then she escaped.
Yes.
That's why we haven't seen her for 20 years. Yeah. And then she finally catches up with Peter. And so she's her own distinct spider person.
So, see, that's kind of when I think about, like, the character of Silk and her just, like, web swinging around, but it's on an Amazon TV show with the kind of a nice budget. Like, that could be cool. Do you think they could nail this? Do you think, will any of the Spider-Man be involved? And which one shows up on a streaming service first? Tom Holland, Andrew Garfield?
Could it, well, then you ask a lot of questions.
That was a lot. I'm sorry.
All right, so could it be cool? Anything could be cool if you make it right. It being tied to Spider-Man does cripple it a little bit, but I think that they can go more adult with it. They could kind of but they're not going to. They're going to make it like, it's going to be like, if they make it like a She-Hulk type show, then no one's watching that shit. It's got to be a balls to the wall action show. That's what it should be. That's what people want. They want like a good action show with a desirable, attractive lead that's like a star, you know, that will
someone charismatic. Yes.
Yeah. Like you need somebody who's who's new and fresh and going to like do the things like go and train and learn how to fight and be the best. Like Tom Holland, like he went and he tried his best to be Spider-Man, and it comes through.
Yeah, he's doing all the jumping and flipping around, some of it.
Yeah, you can't just put some like person in there and just, and be like, yeah, that's our star, and they're not going to do anything to really like. There's so many like martial artists and so many people that can do crazy shit that are undiscovered that we could put in this role. I don't know what they're going to do, but can it be cool? Yes. Will it be cool? I don't know. That's a tough one. They have to do it right, because it being tied to Spider-Man, you can't do too much with it, because then you're going to not be able to, like, it's like having Daredevil and then bringing Daredevil into Marvel. That was like a risky move.
Yeah.
And they had to change a lot, and it didn't quite match up. So if they want to like port these over to Spider-Man movies later, it's going to be a strange, because Spider-Man exists in in the Marvel world where it's very different.
That's my confusion, and I think the overall confusion is I don't know what universe what thing is in. Sony's universe, if it now includes the Venom movies and Morbius, but does it also include, obviously, the Tobey Maguire movies? It includes the Andrew Garfield movies. Is this all still in canon? Is this the universe this show is set in? If so, could they introduce a live-action Miles Morales? I was like trying to think there are some cool characters that maybe a TV show would be cool, but without a Spider-Man, it's kind of pointless. So I think Cindy Moon is your best bet for making her own thing, and it being Spider-Man without having it need to be anything like Peter Parker.
I don't know why they just don't do 2099.
That would be amazing. Do that live action.
Because it's a different Spider-Man. Yeah. It's not Peter Parker. It's a different Spider-Man. It's a different, totally different, like almost a different universe. You don't have to worry about any old characters or any canon. It's happening in a different place.
Could do a sick, like, cyberpunk live action fucking Spider-Man show. How cool would that be?
I would love it. I mean, 2099 is still a far ways away, right? So,
yeah, it's far enough to change.
Yeah.
Also, rumors that this is not confirmed, but I was reading things that Tom Holland is signed on for 6 more Spider-Man movies. So I don't think he's going anywhere, but man, that's going to be a big part of his life. If this is true, do we ever see him on a streaming show, Ruggs? Tom Holland, Spider-Man?
Probably not.
Never.
I mean, anything could happen, but I don't know. I find that Marvel's going to figure out a way to cock block it.
I would love to see him in the Daredevil show or something like he needs. That would be great. But yeah, I think they've been the ones holding back him and getting into any of the Sony movies, obviously. But you need a Spider-Man. So then maybe Andrew Garfield is your Spider-Man on the Sony side of things, and he's the main Spider-Man. Would that be too confusing?
Yeah, I don't think Marvel will let that happen. I think
it'll be too confusing.
Miles Morales they let happen because it was a cartoon, but not a live action.
Okay.
I don't know what it is, because like, why wouldn't they have come out with a Miles Morales movie already?
Right.
At this point. Because everybody loved Into the Spider-Verse, and that was how many years ago? They could have greenlit a Miles Morales film. We would be making it right now if they could. If they didn't have some kind of like stipulation by Marvel or worried that Marvel was going to start stepping on their cocks.
But the character does, good in animation. I mean, it didn't make the most money, but it got Oscar nominations. They're working on a second one that looks amazing.
Right. So they had every reason to make a live action. They okay, we could open this up to a different, because there's people who just don't want to watch cartoons.
That's a good point. So
you could now spread. They're always talking about market share, right? So there's a market.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm excited for more. Look, more Spider-Man. Anything coming is fine. We'll see when it happens. Going to Amazon is a shocker. Ballsy move by Amazon, by Sony. Go up against Disney.
I'd like to see some edgy shit.
I think they can make it edgy.
At the end of the day, I don't care who makes it as long as it's somewhat true to the material and it's very entertaining, and I don't have to groan every time I'm watching it, because whatever. I just want to see fucking action. I want to see fucking entertainment. I want to be entertained by good writing and all that stuff. Good performances. That's what I care about. So
Well, speaking of good, entertaining action and writing, let's move on to the next thing. I got a little bit of Indiana Jones 5 news. Ruggs, you interested? Does anybody care?
No.
Does anybody care? 5 still coming out soon?
I mean, it's hard to get excited. Like, for me, like, Indiana Jones was something I liked, but when they came out with that Crystal Skull one and he was old, and I was like, okay, this is the last one. Like, you can't do another one.
That one was not great. The first 3 are fun. That one was okay.
But I'm like, okay, you can't hopefully don't do anything more because it'll just be worse. Like, there's no way. I don't know. I don't know if they could really.
Yeah, they could have killed it
because
there.
The whole thing's predicated on like Indiana Jones, like getting in all these situations where he's got to do stuff. And you got Harrison Ford, he's 80 years old or something. I don't know.
Well, so here's the thing. In this new, he is old. He is very old. He's probably up there. Look it up. But it is sticking to the timeline. So, you know how the first movie started in the 30s, late 30s. This Indiana Jones 5 will be taking place in 1969.
Right.
With the space race going on and the Americans trying to beat the Russians. And there will be Nazis. The moon landing program is being run by a bunch of ex-Nazis. So he will be fighting Nazis again. He hates Nazis. However, though, I also heard there's going to be a flashback in the beginning, and they will be de-aging him for a flashback bit.
Okay.
In the movie. So we see a little de-age, but sticking to the timeline makes sense. At his age.
But they're going to do the thing where the girl becomes a new Indiana Jones.
Well, see, I don't know. I didn't hear anything about a passing of the torch.
Oh, it's going to happen. That's the trend. That's what's going to happen.
You think so? Because we haven't got a trailer or anything, which is weird.
I heard that the girl from Fleabag is going to be the new Indiana Jones.
Phoebe.
She's already like in her 40s.
Phoebe Waller-Cates. I thought she played a good guy or a bad guy. I'm kind of excited for this. It's James Mangold.
Yeah.
He makes good movies. There was a rumors out that there was a screening and everybody said it was garbage. And then James Mangold is like, no, it hasn't screened yet. So that's not true. He's got a good track record.
Well, yeah, of course. But I think that when you have something that's kind of already limping, how are you going to I don't know. I just feel like that. I hate to be negative. I want it to be good, but I just don't see how it's going to be great.
I mean, this is the last movie he's going to be Indiana Jones. So, like, I wouldn't mind, like, a send-off of the character. Do they kill him at the end of this, or do they just let him sail off?
I don't know.
He's definitely not doing another one. I
don't know. It's just a strange thing. To me, these are weird movies when you're, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm excited for Indiana Jones movie in 2022. But I am. So I'm looking.
What is the great thing about Indiana Jones for you exactly?
Well, I guess if you look back, it's the character and the adventure and the swagger and the action.
Yeah, it's like it's just Spielbergism.
The Spielbergisms, yes. The Spielbergian.
He knows how to make a movie that's a crowd pleaser.
Thrilling, yeah.
He knows how to create a character that's endearing, and he knows how to kind of have these great adventures with like some history woven in. And I learned a lot from those movies. I don't know if any of it was true, but I found it very interesting, the stuff that it was brought up. Even the Crystal Skull stuff was a little bit interesting, and you look into it, and there is something to it. But so there is that, and that's kind of cool, but. Were you telling me about Nazis in the space race? I don't see it, but
yeah,
I might be ignorant. Maybe I don't know enough, but I haven't been curious enough to look anything up. So I'm just already like shitting on it before I even.
Sure, no, and I get that, and I hope that it's going to be good. But
I hope it's good. I really do.
I hope it's good too. Ruggs, let's move on to another old franchise that's trying to come back and be a thing. Did you know today, Monday, November 21st? Is Avatar Day.
Oh, shit.
Disney has declared today Avatar Day because they have that power to just declare whatever day they want.
Yeah, okay.
And apparently they're putting a new final trailer out during Monday Night Football that is happening right now.
Another trailer?
Yes, another trailer. So I was going to check real quick and see if there's an Avatar trailer out. In the meantime, the analysts are predicting this movie isn't going to get too crazy like the first one. Because of the way the box office is, it's currently on track to open somewhere between 135 million to 175 million, which is still a lot of money to open to.
Right. And I don't think it's going to open big. I think that it's all going to weigh on the sleeper factor. It's like, if the word of mouth on this movie is good and people are coming out of it going, oh shit, this is something that you have to see, I think that it'll just, instead of dropping off 60% or whatever, it might, only drop off 40 or 50 and carry the next couple weeks in a high spot. So if that happens, they're going to make money, but not on opening day, I don't think. I think that people are still skeptical. They don't know, if it's even worth checking out yet.
I think that's kind of what happened to the first movie. I don't think it opened crazy. I think it was like under 100 million. And even this projection of like 175 at the top is still less than Doctor Strange made 187 million.
It doesn't have the cachet right now. It just does. I mean, even though if you throw the trailer on and it's beautiful and it looks great and looks like, wow, like this shit is all made in the computer and it looks fantastic. I don't know if that's enough to get like everybody to the theater. And a lot of the people who watched Avatar, they're like one and done with it. It's like people like me who love James Cameron. I'm going to see anything he makes regardless. And I'm going to watch it as soon as it comes out on a big screen, because that's the best way to enjoy a James Cameron film. So if you're like me and you're a Cameron guy, you're there. But I don't know. I feel like it's going to have if it's good, it's going to have sleeper legs.
It needs to have legs. I don't think it's going to break like 2.9 billion. That first movie, almost $3 billion, like the highest fucking grossing movie.
No, I mean, if it makes $1 billion, I'll be surprised.
It's weird because I don't think tickets are on sale yet, or maybe they're going on sale tonight, which is why they're doing this trailer release. I don't see a new trailer, but that last trailer really got me. The first trailer, I was like, oh, it's Avatar. The second trailer, for some reason, I was like, oh my God, look at this. Look at all this stuff he's made up. It looked kind of gorgeous. So yeah, watching it in 3D, but I think it's going to have slow legs. It's going to be word of mouth. Just like you said.
If it's good, I don't know if it's good yet. I just know it looks good.
It's just, what story is it going to be derivative of this time?
You want to try and make a prediction?
Yes.
So the last one was what? Was it Sacagawea? Was it
Little Dances with Wolves, a little Fern Gully, Pocahontas? That's what everybody says.
So this one's going to be...
What's another classic fairy tale that pits two...
I think it's going to be two cultures that are clashing, but they're the same.
Yeah. And
they have to team up type thing. So I don't know if it's going to be... I'm going to say 300. Go ahead.
Okay. It's going to be like...
There's going to be hot gates.
Yeah. Topless Na'vi shining, glistening in oil.
Yeah.
So, okay. I can't think of what it's going to be derivative of, but I'm sure we'll be able to pick it apart. But I mean, it's
like it'll be a Civil War thing, something like that.
When's it coming out? Mid-December. So it'll have a good run through Christmas. People, they're going to bring their family, hopefully. Cameron doesn't disappoint for the most part.
Right.
Listener, check out our TeePublic shop if you want to pick up some Jock and Nerd swag. Visit jockandnerd.com/shop. And you can adorn yourself. Get a hoodie. It's getting cold out. The Jock and Nerd logo. Lots of fun stuff over there. Okay, and then the last thing, Ruggs, we have to end the news with a little bit of sad news. And this is why I wish Anthony was here, because if you are a kid from the 90s, you've lost another icon from your youth. Last week, it was Kevin Conroy, the voice of Batman. This week, Jason David Frank passes away at a young age of 49. He famously, of course, played the Green Ranger on the Power Rangers. And TMZ reporting it's apparent suicide, which is even more fucked up. Tragic. Now, Ruggs, I was a little bit old for the Power Rangers, but we did review the first Power Rangers movie way back in episode 280.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Ninjetti.
Yes, and Anthony had a ball, and I was like, I don't get this completely, but What can you tell us about Jason David Frank? He played the Green
Ranger.
The Green Ranger for 123 episodes.
Yeah, the Green Ranger, like he was he's kind of like they had the established they had the established 5 that create the robot, you know. And then this dude comes out of left field. He's got his own robot. What do they call them? Mechs? What do they call them? Megazords? He's got his own Megazord that looks kind of like a dinosaur. And it kicks ass. And then you can make the Super Megazord. And he has a little sword that he can play like a flute.
That's the best part. I remember that.
And he was like always the character that was like, you didn't know where he stood. And he was kind of like the wild card. He could be bad. He could be good. He does all that shit. And then he ended up establishing himself very well. And then he was in a bunch of stuff. Like he was always ready to go. He was always like willing to be in like fan stuff, like fan films. And he was even in that Valiant movie that they never put out.
Oh, that's right. Did he play, was it Ninjak?
He was Bloodshot.
Oh, no, he was Bloodshot in that movie. That's right.
Yeah.
And, you know, similar to Kevin Conroy, the guy who was always at, you'd see him at conventions and appearances and always friendly with the fans. Everybody loved him. He did a lot of TV and just another like.
So did it say why he did it or how he did it, or is it?
No, it just TMZ just has the result of suicide.
I just would wonder if it was like drug related or if it was like some kind of like asphyxiation thing or whatever. I don't know. People do weird shit.
They do.
It's it's sad that this dude like he gave us something that we all can remember and part of our childhood. It's sad that this is how it ended.
Yeah, another 90s icon so man, the 90s kids, they're growing up.
Were you a Power Ranger? You weren't. You were too old for Power Rangers.
He was on.
We're the same age. So what's the?
Yeah, look, he was on Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from 93 to 96. This was the years I was in college. So I was not paying attention to Power Rangers.
I curiously checked out Power Rangers because it was a Japanese show, Super Sentai. Right. But I went to check it out and I'm like, oh, they took all the Japanese people and put some Americans in there. And they were like the worst actors. And it was very jarring when they cut to the Rangers, but it was ingenious of Saban to do this because they had masks on so you can tell who they were. And then they just fucking did their
the fight double.
But the thing about the Power Rangers is it gets very formulaic really quickly. And it's just like literally every show is the exact same show all the time. I think they started to switch it up a little bit now, but like for a while, like they designed it for kids and kids like they're not kid shows are usually not episodic where their story arcs. I mean, there's story arcs or things like that. They just kind of have like villain of the day and then they kill him and that's it. Boom, done. Like there's no like overarching story. There's no narrative. So, it was kind of like, okay, I've seen this one 50 times already. Mm-hmm. Like I don't need to watch it. So after I saw like maybe like 5 or 6 of them, I was like, I would only just like punch in to see what the new cast looked like and the new Megazords looked like. And then I would like leave and not watch it all. So I was just there at a curiosity standpoint.
I mean, a hugely popular brand, obviously, and you get the energy like live action cartoon.
It is fun, but it is fun. But after you've watched like 10 of them, you've seen them all. Like, you pretty much have seen everything. Just like watching Ultraman, it's the same shit. It's like, they do the same thing every time, and it'd be nice to like have some overarching story where like things progress and things change and blah blah blah. And I think they do that. Someone's going to comment and like, you don't know what you're talking about. But I'm just saying, at that time, it would seem like that's what it seemed like to me. But I'm glad that we can remember him through his work.
He was a professionally trained, I guess, MMA fighter too. Who knew?
Yeah, he was legit. He could do the moves. He could do the ninjetti. So I'll drink one to you later, Mr. Frank.
Rest in peace to Jason David Frank. We will take a break here and play some promos and come back and talk about a 90s action movie right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Eric.
And I'm Aisla.
And together we are the hosts of the Bicurian podcast.
Bicurion is our answer to the polarizing culture we live in.
Tired of feeling under siege and looking for ways to get involved? Then come be a part of a different way of thinking.
Everything from politics to geek culture to current events that polarize us as a society. We explore multiple ways of looking at things. Please check us out at Bicurion.com and follow us on your favorite social media platform of choice.
Transmission commencing.
This is Wookiee Radio. Translated for the Wookiee impaired. I like that Wookiee. Your hosts, Ken, Derek, and Mike, bring you the latest news and commentary from the far reaches of the galaxy.
Hold it. Hold it. I said hold it.
Subscribe today on iTunes and Stitcher.
I just assumed it's a Wookiee.
Start listening today, and remember,
The Force will be with you, always.
Jock and Nerd.
Listener, if you enjoy the show, sign up for our fan club. You can give back. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon. Jock and Nerd. And you will be helping us out. It would be greatly appreciated. Thank you to all our existing patrons. When you sign up, there's a exclusive podcast feed where the shows come out early, and there's bonus content. And Anthony did a piece of bonus content for us this week. Ruggs, did you notice? Did you see?
No.
He up there right now, just for our Patreon subscribers, he did a Phase 4 MCU retrospective.
Oh.
Where he went down.
I got to listen to that.
Yeah, it was pretty good. It's a good listen. Went down every property and gave it a grade and looked at the Phase 4 as a whole. I think we can do something like that on the show, too. I want to get more in-depth with certain things. But that's there. Bonus content available right now. And you get Discord benefits. Ruggs, we're doing a Discord this week. You're going to be there, right?
I hope I remember.
I will send you a message.
Is it the day before Thanksgiving?
It's Thanksgiving Eve, the day this show posts.
Oh, my God.
Look,
I have no idea what. Something might come up, Imran, but I'll try and be there.
Well,
sure.
I know it's not the most ideal time. If you can make it, great, Ruggs. But we have one every month, so sign up and you can join us for.
What time is it at?
It is at 8 p.m. Central Time.
So I'll be at 9 o'clock. How am I not going to be too drunk to do this?
Oh, that's even better. That's what I want. Anyways, lots of fun stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't have to be good. I just to talk to people.
You want to see drunk Ruggs? You sign up for the Patreon and join us.
Yeah, I'll get fucked up.
The Discord. It's lots of fun. jockandnerd.com/Patreon. All right, let's get to this week's review. We are continuing on our 90s action theme as we get ready to do our 90s action tournament. Hopefully next month now. I know it keeps sliding back, but we will do it. I can't wait. And this week we're going to take a look at another one. We're going to take a look at 1992's Under Siege. Here's your spoiler alerts.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
Oh, man. Of course, the Steven Seagal classic Under Siege. This sitting at Rotten Tomatoes is actually at a 79%. Ruggs.
Whoa. Yeah, that's pretty high.
6.2 out of 10 average rating. 62% for the audience side. This Under Siege was made for a budget of $35 million. And it makes, but finishes at 156 million worldwide. Not bad.
And you're not even counting the DVD sales or VHS sales.
Yeah, this is just box office for the year. It was one of the top box office earners. I think it was in the top 10 for the year of 92. Big hit.
Wow.
The movie directed by Andrew Davis, who had directed Seagal previously and follows this movie with The Fugitive. This movie, I think, got him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, got him The Fugitive because a couple of also cast is in that movie. Tommy Lee Jones. Written by J.F. Lawton, who had previously just written Pretty Woman.
Wow.
Yeah, right? And, of course, starring the Steven Seagal. And at this point, Steven Seagal playing Casey Ryback. At this point, Steven Seagal is What's funny about the names of his movies is it's not so much a title, it's just like an adjective of his character, which is the same. So up until now, Seagal has been hard to kill. He's been above the law. He's been marked for death. Oh, that was later. And then he's out for justice. But right now, he's under siege.
Taking a shit.
Yes, taking a shit with Steven Seagal.
Yeah.
Also starring in the movie, Gary Busey, Tommy Lee Jones as the bad guys, Erica Eleniak as Jordan Tate, and a bunch of other people. But that's your main crew right there.
Right.
So, Ruggs, first of all, Tell us what happens. Can you do Anthony plot synopsis?
Oh my God. Can I sum up?
Can you sum up Under Siege? It's not hard.
I don't even know. Let's just, I'm going to try my best, but I'm not good at this type of thing. Under Siege is a movie where there is a naval, I think, ship that actually has like nukes on it. And they're going to retire this ship, and it's on its like last voyage. And they're, I think that the admiral is like retiring, and they're organizing this big party on the ship. And this allows some terrorists, can you call them terrorists, to get on there, nefarious people to get on there because they're going to hijack this thing. And so they managed to subdue the whole crew, and but they forget about the cook, who is actually Steven Seagal, and you don't want to fuck with him.
Casey Ryback.
And so it's basically the plot ensues. Is this dude going to be able to stop these dudes from stealing these nukes and using them to blow up Hawaii, I think, right? Honolulu,
yeah. They sent the missiles.
And that's the movie. Pretty much.
It's Die Hard on a boat with a little twist in the main character. But yes, this is one of the many Die Hard clones that popped up after Die Hard.
There's so many. Yeah, there's so many.
So overall, Ruggs, where do you want to start? You want to start at the beginning? This is very much in the 90s vein of 90s action movies. But I wasn't really a huge Seagal fan. For some reason,
No, I wasn't either.
Really?
No.
And we'll get into the reasons why, but I did find parts of this movie very entertaining. And but you're just like, how did this guy become an action movie star? And he shows you, sort of. What do you think of
Full disclosure, I only went to this movie to see Erica Eleniak's boobs.
Well, this is, it's one of the big
And you
moments.
do see them in full regalia. And it was worth every cent. And then I was like, oh, Steve Seagal's in this too. But yeah, it's like I never really liked Steven Seagal's movies. They were always he's a weird character, and he doesn't act very well, and he kind of has the same expression all the time. The way that he engineers the fight so he looks good and everybody else looks like shit, and it just looks like a guy like touching a person and they go flying.
Right. Smart.
And I like it better when it seems more visceral, like they're actually, like Stallone and Drago are actually hitting each other in the Rocky movies, and you're like, feel the realism and you feel like the athleticism. So with Steven Seagal, it always felt like fake, like super fake. The only thing that saves the Seagal movies is usually there's a lot of uber violence.
Yeah.
So there's like, he's cracking bones, he's dislocating people's shoulders, he's throwing, chopping them with something, or they always seem to get gouged, or some kind of like R-rated gore is happening in the Steven Seagal movies where it's just a little extreme. And that was his signature thing. And there, you see that in this movie, there's a couple of scenes with that.
Well, he does a Roadhouse Dalton throat rip. It's not as good.
No.
But they went for it. Yes. And there are times where you're like, oh, Jesus.
The thing about Steven Seagal, he's ridiculously tall. And he just and he can't run. He looks weird when he's running.
He does. This is what I didn't understand. I was like, this guy, he's not particularly cut. He's lumbering. He's not the best actor. He kind of mumbles his lines. What was that accent he was doing?
No idea. He was doing like some kind of like Cajun or something.
It went in and out. I'm like, what is this accent? But I'm like, this is the biggest hit, like his biggest hit out of all of them. It was a commercial hit and a critical hit. But, I think what saves this movie is the people around him, like the wonderfully over-the-top performances by Gary Busey and Tommy Lee Jones are fun to watch.
Well, the plot is good. It's a sound plot. All right. They took over a ship that's got nukes in it.
Yeah, but what's funny is like I'm halfway into the movie and I'm like, I'm still not sure what these bad guys want. What exactly? It was a disgraced CIA FBI guy, William Stranix, who they tried to kill, and he wanted revenge, so
they were gonna sell him for money.
Yeah, he also has a nuke under.
Like Gary Busey said, he wants to buy the presidency, which is, how are you going to buy the presidency when everybody knows you're doing this? Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Yeah, there's some improbable writing going on. There's a lot, but like, I think money is the main factor, but it just was ridiculous. Like, now you're an international criminals. Like, how are you going to do anything with this money? Like, you're going to be hunted down for the rest of your life.
They're awful.
If you get away with it.
Did you find it enjoyable at all? There's a couple of moments that I was like,
look, okay, I watched Sudden Death, which was the Jean-Claude Die Hard in a hockey thing.
Yeah.
And I watched this like in the same. I had to start and get 3 times to watch Sudden Death. I kept falling asleep during it. And this one I actually watched in one sitting, I think. So that says a lot.
It's paced pretty well. Like, it keeps moving for the most part.
Yeah, there was times where I was like thinking it was taking a little long. There's a lot of. I think that it took a long time for Seagal and Erica Eleniak to get together.
It did. Seagal is locked in a freezer for like 15, 20 minutes of the movie, and he's just like, check out my pies. Will somebody check my pies? All he cares about
he's worried about his bouillabaisse.
Yeah, he's like, I got to make 50 gallons of bouillabaisse. So the beginning is fun. Like, the fact they used President Bush, the actual President Bush, they use him in the movie. I was like, that's crazy. That's the real president. Gary Busey instantly sets up him being an asshole. He spits in the food, and then you see him very quickly dancing in drag.
That's the ugliest thing I've ever
seen.
And
he just looks horrid. But this whole plan, these terrorists sneak a Chinook helicopter full of caterers and Erica Eleniak onto a battleship without like the captain giving approval. I was like, how did they get all these weapons on the boat off the helicopter?
Well, they used the birthday as a way to get this done, and they the guy walks around like one of the flunkies walks around, and it shows like all like the soldiers that are in charge of like keeping an eye out, like this Playboy that she's in, and they're all like, all right, yeah, bring her in. You know, like, look at this woman. Okay, yeah, sure, do whatever you want.
Erica Eleniak, fresh off of just finishing her run on Baywatch and in the movie. So, and why did they bring her along at all, which doesn't make any sense? In the movie, she's going to jump out of a cake. She is the Playboy Playmate of July 89. She actually was Playboy Playmate like 4 times in the late 80s and 90s. So it's all.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. And if you Google, if Anthony was here, we would have lost him Googling.
Yeah, he would be like, excuse me, I have to. I wasn't paying attention. What happened?
And then the famous story is everybody's VHS tape is degraded at the scene because she shows a lot. Clearly not afraid.
Well, yeah. First of all, they were just abnormally large.
This has got to be the most replayed part of VHS tape in history.
So they were like something to behold. Like, it's not the normal boobs that you see. Also, yeah, the scene is so weird because she's asleep in the cake for like, I don't know how many hours this is going on, this whole takeover of this ship.
This was my other question.
And what wakes her up is that Steven Seagal pushes the cake and it magically turns on and she pops out of it like a fucking, like a pre-programmed, like machine, like boom, she just goes to life.
Yeah, it was. They gave her pills to knock her out, and so she's passed out for like a large portion, and then she just wakes up and starts dancing and stripping. She doesn't know where she is
with her eyes closed.
But I was like, "What is happening?"
Completely empty room.
Yeah, and then he's like kind of mean to her, and now he's annoyed with her, and then now he she turns into a badass. Which is there's actually a behind the scenes story about this. Seagal didn't want to make this movie because he did not like that the girl was just, quote, a bimbo who jumps out of a cake, and then he's annoyed by her. So they do give her a little bit of agency. She gets some kills, right? At the end, she kind of gets badass. She gets one kill.
She says she doesn't like guns in the beginning, and then she ends up like saving his ass.
Yes, as he's describing, mansplaining like what guns are to her.
Right.
Which is kind of funny. But, I do enjoy, another great thing about this is the location, them shooting on actual decommissioned battleships, like the location, the tight corridors, some of that shit was cool. And him like hunting him down systematically. It is funny when he crosses his arms and shoots his Uzis just at nothing. Like he's not even aiming. He's just like, they're going wherever.
Well, the setup, yeah, it does add to it because yeah, you have these tight quarters. You're seeing things you don't normally see. Like you don't know what the inside of these ships look like.
Yeah, it's
like
kind of cool.
Something new.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a set. Like a lot of it wasn't. A lot of it you could see they're on an actual ship. But it's also funny because they're all on the fucking ship.
Yes.
Like the bad guys and him are on the ship and they can't never find him. He's just hanging out most of the time. He's making weapons. Like, of course he's going to go where there's these giant guns that shoot things, right? Where do you think he's going to be if he's going to shoot down something? He's going to be in that room and they never find him there. So like, it's just weird. Like he's on this ship and they're on this ship and they just like, barely ever cross paths until they need to.
I mean, there's a scene later, like there's huge explosions in like the third act, right? But then there's a scene where like him and the girl are just, it looks like they're just casually strolling on the deck of this boat.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, where are the people? Shouldn't they be looking for you? They can't find him. The twist of like, it's Die Hard on a boat, but instead of you have this normal, the everyday average guy getting caught in a situation, you have a guy that's actually just good at everything, right? He's a turns out he's a martial artist.
He's a Navy SEAL. He knows how to make bombs. He knows how to work the communications devices. He can fly a helicopter. He can disable weapon systems and hack into computers, I guess. This fucking guy can do everything. It's amazing. And he can heal like Wolverine, apparently, because he gets shot like or fucked up really bad when he goes to the submarine and tries to disable it, and some guy sees him and like shoots at him, and you can see he climbs aboard he rescues himself and climbs aboard the ship, and his back is all fucked up, and they have to like wrap it up, and he like looks like he's really, really messed up, and then 2 seconds later he's completely fine.
They were throwing like a hook at him. Remember, a sailing hook? They're like, hook him.
Yeah.
Hook the guy. I'm like, what? Why are you trying to hook somebody?
That was kind of cool. I've never seen that before.
What kind of a trained Navy SEAL gets spotted swimming at the surface of the water? That was my other question. Why did they see you if you were a Navy SEAL?
Because they wrote it that way.
You could just go underneath. They wouldn't have seen you. He makes a bomb with a condom. That's very useful.
As you should.
Yes, it's very useful. What do you think of the knife fights? We have a lot of knife fights. And is it proper knife fight position to hold the knife backwards like they do?
I don't know. As I said, Steven Seagal's stuff is sometimes he's actually grappling with people and using his Aikido, whatever the fuck you call
There's
it.
a couple of tosses. It looks like he's doing a couple throws there.
But it's really like a bunch of bullshit. Like none of like the choreography. I think he only cares about him looking good. So like if you look at the other guy, they're clearly just flailing about and there's no rhyme or reason to what they're doing. And then he's just like, let me just do that. Now you're dead. And that's how Steven Seagal movies work.
It definitely looks.
But I mean, he does have some gore kills. He puts like a guy into like a slicer.
The bandsaw. Yes, he pulls the guy in the bandsaw. By the way, they're cutting steel beams with a bandsaw. Did you notice that? Real easily.
Yeah.
No problem at all. This is what was holding.
It's a really strong saw.
This is what was holding the boat together.
They got the adamantium.
Was it?
Blade
fucking
on there.
bandsaw. Yeah, and he gouges. So then you have the final fight, of course, with Tommy Lee Jones, where he gouges his eye out, then stabs him in the head, and then throws him headfirst into a video console.
You got to have a fatality at the last fight.
That was a fatality. And this is after. I didn't understand how they blew up the submarine. They were firing starbursts, but then they had actual rockets, remember? And they hit the submarine and then they kill.
Well, I think they needed to, they were never going to be able to aim it. So they figured, let's throw out this fucking, because they're going to need 2 shots. The first shot, they were never going to.
That gave them the calibration.
So
the second one.
I think they did that to like throw them off and think, because if they start the boat up and sink, then we're fucked. But if they think they're just shooting flares.
There was like 5-inch guns and 16-inch guns mentioned, and I was very confused. I was like, wait a minute.
It was. I'm trying to do gymnastics to try and make it make sense, but I think that's what they were doing. And I liked it when they actually finally shot that thing. That the thing exploded. The thing I like the most about the movie is that it does show you how they load the guns and how big the munitions are and all that stuff. I'm like, that's interesting because you don't see it every day. You know, like the inner workings of a ship and how. So I found that to be like the fact that this set adds so much to the film, and Yeah, the fact that you had this kind of diehard setup of, and the stakes were really high. Like these motherfuckers were going to get away nukes to people.
Yeah, they're going to nuke
selling them,
Honolulu.
and they were going to nuke. Yeah, a big place. So then they had that war room where like all the guys are smoking cigarettes, and like all the military is like, what the fuck? And they're yelling at each other. Like that added a little bit to it too. There's that one guy.
I love the one.
With
The commander's like, there's a lot of trouble on that boat. Just understating everything that's going on.
Yeah.
But that's what
that
they
one guy who kind of looks like Jack Kirby.
Yes.
You know, he's like the general. He's like very stern and like looks like always like he's like someone pissed in his cornflakes all the time. So yeah, that was a fun thing as well. Tommy Lee Jones was good as the rock and roll. He was in a rock and roll band playing like a harmonica.
The Bail Jumpers. And then they all had guns. Yeah, no, dude, this, his performance reminded me a little bit of Two-Face that he's about to do in Batman.
I saw that.
And he's great in Fugitive and U.S. Marshal. But him just having a ball, and even Gary Busey, where he's sitting there and he's like, do I look like I need a psychological evaluation? He's interested.
But he's Gary Busey.
He's Gary Busey. He's so crazy. And then, there's a couple, like Seagal has maybe a couple of good one-liners where she's like, you're not a cook. And he just goes, yeah, well, I also cook, as he cocks his gun.
How do you feel about Seagal as an actor?
So this is why, look, this was the lower tier of these action guys, right? Like, I think I almost respect Van Damme way more as an actor and an action guy. I put him above Seagal. From what I hear, he plays the same character all the time. He just doesn't seem to have a lot of range. And he does mumble his lines a little bit. Some of it, I was like, what did you just say?
I feel like he's got the least amount of obstacles as far as English language. So why isn't he killing it as an actor?
I don't know. But
like you got Arnold, who he's just like, he can't play things. Like his acting ability is... He's relying on charisma.
But this charisma goes a long way. There's something about him that makes you just want to like watch every movie he's in.
Well, he's got the it factor.
Yeah.
And he can convey a lot of stuff without saying anything. He's good at that facial emoting. Like he's good at that.
Yeah.
Like he can make you like when he's sad and upset, you could tell when he's like, he's being pens. So he's got that non-verbal acting way over Seagal. Seagal has one look on his face all the time. Jean-Claude Van Damme is a little bit in the middle. Like he's got the accent problem.
Yeah.
He's not the greatest actor. He can't deliver the lines so great, but he does have that charisma like Arnold does. He does have the same kind of likability. Yeah.
And he's fucking cut, right? You buy it. Like Seagal has like a little gut in this movie. Like I don't get it. I'm like, okay. I mean, if you're a cook that's a Navy SEAL that's been out of the game.
And Stallone, I think, has all the best attributes out of everybody. He can act. He's physically imposing and has like that kind of charisma. And he can box and he can do choreographed fights. He's not as good as Van Damme, but I think he's tied with Arnold for being able to do the shit, I think maybe could Arnold do a boxing movie like Rocky? I don't know. But anyway, Steven Seagal, he's got moves to a degree, and that's about it. It's
just knife fighting and shooting and a couple of.
It's just a different kind of. It's a different kind of. The reason why I caught on is because it was a more intense kind of martial art where he was breaking people's bones and throwing people and it was kind of gory, and that was more extreme. Like that was like a little bit. It felt more real, I guess, like more of an MMA type feel.
Well, and I mean, even the deaths in this movie are kind of like shocking. Like poor Private Nash, who was there to keep him in the freezer. They just kill. Like that one time where they're like, "We're gonna kill. If you step out of line, we're gonna kill you and the person next to you." Like they were fucking. It was cold blooded.
Yeah.
So you got that they were pretty fucking evil.
I think that the stakes in the movie were good.
Yeah.
It gave it an urgency. So they had that going for it. So how do you feel about it as a film? Like where do you put it? Like is it like a must see film from the 90s? Is it Is it better than the 80s movies, do you think? Or is it still like is it a step down or how does it compare to you to like all the classics?
I mean, I feel like if you had to watch one Steven Seagal movie to get him, this would be the one. And honestly, it's not. I don't think it's going to go far in the tournament, but it has all the elements we love. But I was just.
I'll tell you this. I think the fact that this is a movie with a budget, a movie that's shot on a location that's actually real, a movie that has like real kind of digestible stakes, like people we can recognize. Okay, nukes are bad, and taking the nukes and giving them to bad guys or using them, that's bad. So all of these kind of real world things and all these things create the illusion of a actual competent film. And so now this is probably the most competent Steven Seagal movie, like the most well done.
Okay.
All right. So he's along for the ride. He's doing his job. He's not doing it poorly. He's carrying like what he has to carry. And so it really works out well for him. And plus you got Erica Eleniak in there who's, bringing people into the theater like myself.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever. And so, yeah, there's a lot of things that help elevate this movie beyond a typical Seagal film. Is it his best movie fight-wise? I don't know. I think there's other movies where he kicks more ass. And he seems to fit the character and the tone a little bit better, but they're not better movies. Like, they're all just shitty B movies, you know what I'm saying? So this is actually a theater-worthy movie. So
I mean, yes, it does. It has great
for its time.
Yeah, great explosions. The kind of battleship porn is kind of like in Top Gun where they show you all the jets and everything. It's very cool. So I did appreciate the setting. The parts of it I did have a lot of fun. I think the back half it maybe takes a little bit to get started, but
yeah, it kind of slow in the beginning.
Yeah, and then it just kind of ends. Does he get reinstated? Because he's back in costume at the very end, and they're at the real Pearl Harbor.
Yeah, they have
a nice
to.
touch.
They have to. They have to give him like a pass, I guess. He saved fucking all of Honolulu. So,
but huge at the time and huge on VHS because of Erica Eleniak.
I feel like this isn't going to go super far in the tournament. That's my feeling. I feel like I've seen a lot more entertaining movies that were worse. Like. What would you rather watch, this or Showdown?
See, I was thinking about that, and Showdown has just, pound for pound more, like, the action keeps coming. I just feel like it's chock full of more. I would rather watch Showdown, as strange as that sounds.
Yeah, I think there's
Showdown
no question
Tokyo,
that Under Siege is a better made film.
It is.
It's a better written film.
But it's
a better executed film. It's got better actors in it, you know? It's got all of those things that make a better film, but is it as fun? That's the question.
But this movie is fun with Tommy Lee Jones, who I believe he's on screen about as much as Seagal is. Like, if you think about screen time, which that's also funny.
I feel like this is like a way to prop up Seagal. This movie, they're giving him everything.
They are. They're making it it's a softball. They're lining it up for him to succeed and be badass. And I think
he just has to just go through the motions.
And I mean, I think it succeeds on that end, and that's probably why it was a big hit for him. Because, like you said, it's digestible. It's got these
like you could put Arnold in this movie. It'd be a huge hit.
Oh my god, that would be a wild movie. He wouldn't even fit in those fucking corridors.
No,
so huge.
I mean, like. Seagal is the same height as Arnold, maybe taller, but like
Arnold is wider.
Well, now Seagal's much wider.
Well, yeah, let's not even talk about what the fucking guy is up to today. But the movie was nominated for 2 Oscars. Did you know that? Best Sound and Best Sound Editing. It did not win either one of these. And then there was a sequel with Steven Seagal, Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
Is that good? I don't know.
The less about that, the better, from what I can tell.
It's on a train, I think.
Yeah, co-written by a young Matt Reeves, actually. Did you know that? Yeah. 1995, he tried, and and I think it makes $100 million, but doesn't do as well as this movie. So, all right. Let's rate it, Ruggs. What would you give this movie overall?
I'm going to say a 6.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking. 6.5, maybe even.
Yeah, because like a 5 is what we call a movie.
Yeah.
Like it's a successful film. It works as a movie. This is entertaining. It's got boobs. It's got explosions.
It's got fight. It's got shootouts. Yeah, it's got all the cool shit.
Shootouts. It's got Tommy Lee. It's got good actors that are bringing something to the table and having fun. So yeah, it's a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing that saves this movie is that it's a real boat, and Tommy Lee Jones and Gary Busey are just being fucking batshit crazy. That's
right.
Fun to watch. And then occasionally, Seagal fucking somebody up, but you're like, man, look at him. Oh, he's so lumbering. How is he getting any at this? All right, good stuff. Let's do some news from the nation, Rugs.
It's time for news from the nation.
It's time for news from the nation.
It stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
Just a couple of things. Jeff Chapman left a comment. Jeff Chapman. He said, just realized none of the Avengers or Marvel superheroes came to T'Challa's funeral. What the fuck?
The fuck?
Suspicious.
Well, she did mention it was like a closed Wakandan funeral for immediate friends and family, but that thought did occur to me later. I was like, when they all knew him. They were all very close.
Wakanda's always like, get the fuck away from us. They don't like people.
That's true. They're isolationists for a reason.
That's right.
But that movie is on track for making a lot of money. I think it's crossed 400 million or something. So we'll see what Avatar will it disrupt it. And then the other thing I have from our Facebook group, Jock and Nerd Nation, Rick Martinez shared a link with this caption: "Original Mutant Turtle returns." They're doing a Gamera Rebirth show for Netflix, Rugs.
Yeah, it's going to be animated, I believe.
Oh, it's not live action. It's animated.
I think it might be in a CG animation show. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure on that, but that's what the talk was for a while. So I'm down for that. Like, I'm a little upset they're not going balls to the wall and just like trying to do like a Godzilla that will be on Netflix. You know, they can. Gamera's like a good rival for Godzilla.
Absolutely.
Those Heisei films that came out, or Heisei films, however you say it.
Yes, that's what got me. Anthony made me watch that trilogy, right, in the 90s.
It's so well done.
Those were great, and this Gamera is a crazy fucking turtle with fucking that can fly. Sometimes his legs are legs, sometimes they're jet engines.
Well, like, unlike Godzilla, Gamera is
though.
designed to save the world from shit. So that's his whole being, is that he protects the earth. So it's kind of a little different than Godzilla. Well, they've made Godzilla into protector of the earth, but that's not what he was initially. I think it's kind of interesting that Gamera will just do anything it takes to stop whatever's happening. And he's kind of a different beast altogether. And he's kind of like a little scarier than Godzilla.
Yeah, I thought he was badass. He's got, there's a lot of personality they give him in that trilogy, and like the two big tusks on the side is a great look. But him making me watch that trilogy, I was like, I love Gamera now. I'm down for something on Netflix.
They can talk to Gamera.
That's right.
They have the little jewel that they wear. It's like a little totem, and whoever wears it can feel what Gamera feels. And I think it reciprocates. So they can actually like understand what he's doing and not have a conversation, but kind of like feel what they feel. So it gives you a connection to the character as well. And they just have a tighter hold on those three stories. Like they did that thing. They did that trilogy, and they're all linked together and they all work. And you should check those out if you haven't seen them. Watch those before this comes out, and then you're going to be, hopefully, if this is anywhere near close to those movies, you're going to be in for a treat.
I really enjoyed them. They're called, the first one's Gamera, the Guardian of the Universe, and then Gamera 2, Attack of Legion. I remember Legion, and then Gamera 3, Revenge of Edis.
Yeah, they're all great. I like them all.
I did like them all. The second one was great, and then I even thought the third one was great. I was really glad I watched them, but we're getting more on Netflix. Great. Wonderful. Let's finish up. What are we watching? Ruggs, you watch anything fun this week?
I watched No Time to Die.
Oh, you did finally get a Bond movie in, did you?
Yeah, I did. It was good.
Yeah?
It was good. It wasn't like amazing, but it was good. It was an action film. Very well done. Very well directed. I don't know about written well, but performed well. And Daniel Craig still looks okay. I mean, you could tell he's aging, but he's still like kicking ass and doing all kinds of cool shit and being resourceful. I really like his run on James Bond. And I think they close him out at the end. Like he's retired.
Yeah, I think he's done.
They rope him back in, and there's some really fun scenes in this. The writing's a little bit weird, but other than that, I really enjoyed being able to watch an action movie. And I think if you have Amazon, you should check it out.
Oh, the Fleabag, Phoebe Waller-Bridge wrote on this. Is she in the movie?
No idea.
Oh, she's one of the writers. Interesting.
Yeah, the writing wasn't good.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. It's like, the plot, like, it's so, I hate when they do this, but like, it's so bad that, so James Bond is dating the girl or getting married to the girl. Spoiler alert.
Should I need spoilers?
Whose father is Blofeld.
Oh, so
which is his like main bad guy.
Yeah, that's his arch nemesis. He's marrying his.
Yeah, like who wrote that? That's stupid. Why would he even? No. And then it's just so ham-fisted. Whoever wrote this movie is terrible.
It looks like it had a bunch of writers, which may be part of the problem.
But nonetheless, the personality and the mystique of James Bond still carries something, and it is enjoyable.
Where does Daniel Craig rank in the James Bonds for you?
I feel like it's the one that it's Pierce Brosnan and him are my favorites.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Roger Moore I don't like that much. Sean Connery is a legend, but I feel like not so like his movies. I don't feel they kept him as a man of mysteries too much.
Sean Connery,
yeah. And you just he wasn't as interesting of a character. He just had charisma. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes, he had.
Like you don't get into the character or know anything about.
He's got a swagger that
it's just all about how he just carries himself and how he just so
smooth.
I think that the Daniel Craig movies were written to be a little bit more cohesive, so I think you get a little bit more character there. But as far as charisma, Sean Connery's.
I grew up with my dad was in James Bond movies, and by the time I remember going to the theater and watching movies, it was Roger Moore. So I grew up with the Roger Moore James Bonds.
He's like the Adam West.
He kind of is. When you can think about it, he's like your old friendly uncle James Bond. But that was when I think of James Bond, I think of Roger Moore right away. And then I caught up on the Sean Connery. Pierce Brosnan did a good job. I actually haven't watched any of these Daniel Craig movies, so
I think they're the look. He's ripped. He fucking can handle himself in a fight.
Yeah.
And he looks good when he's doing stuff. He kind of he's got that steel face where he's just doesn't emote. He doesn't ever show that anything's bothering him. He's not the best looking dude. All right. I mean, Pierce Brosnan is the most handsome of all the.
We got Tim Dalton also and George Lazenby. Let's not forget.
Timothy Dalton.
I think he had one.
He's like the forgotten Bond, but he wasn't too bad either. But I feel Connery, Brosnan, and Craig are top three, right?
All right, that's a good ranking.
If you haven't watched Casino Royale, you're missing out. It's great.
Fuck, I gotta go back. I might have seen that one. I don't remember. I'm gonna have to go back.
They're all. I mean, the second one's not the greatest, but then the last two are really good. Actually, they're all badly written, but they're all enjoyable to watch in a lot of ways. So.
Well, it's if you just got to nail that kind of James Bond formula, right? And just make it good.
Yeah.
I watched randomly. There was a movie on Amazon called 13 Lives. Have you heard of this?
No.
It is the film about the in Thailand where the soccer team, the 13 boys, went into the cave and then it rained and they got flooded.
Oh, yeah.
And they were trapped in there for a long time, and it's their rescue. And I've seen the documentary. There's a Nat Geo documentary on Apple TV. And, well, look, spoilers. If you don't know the story, you know they rescued all 13 of them. But this movie, my God, it's long, but it is harrowing. The how they find them is harrowing. Just the underwater scenes of these divers in these cramped tunnels for hours. Like, these are like 5, 6, 7 hour dives. You're just swimming through fucking tunnels. It stars Colin Farrell and Viggo Mortensen, who are both
Well, how do they get them out?
Okay, this is the craziest thing. I don't want to spoil it, but it's a new story. The idea to get, because it took them like 15 days to even fucking find them. They tried to take one person out and he freaked out. Their idea to get him out was they sedated each boy one by one and carried him out like packages. And the guy's like, it's just like delivering a package. Don't worry. And they had to like top off the anesthetic halfway through. So they had to sedate him for like 5 hours and swim back and forth one boy at a time. It took him like 4 days. The story is wild and the way they shot it is amazing. Harrowing story, but like this is a crazy idea. It was the only it would have been. It's the only way they were going to get him out. Honestly, it was great. It was a great crazy idea they went with.
Oh wow,
yeah. Because I believe right after that,
how did they get down there?
It was like a tourist, like open to the public tunnel that you could go in, and there's like railings and paths, and they went in like 2.5 kilometers, and then it started raining for 10 days. And the fucking thing filled up, and they were just stuck there in like a little air pocket where there's little beaches along the way, little sections. They show you the map, and you're like, "Holy!"
So
fuck.
they couldn't figure out pump the water out, or
no, because and they explain in the movie, the mountain that's above the cave has holes in it, and most of the water is runoff from the top of the mountain. Right. Going in. So even if they pump the water out, it just kept coming in. So yeah.
They couldn't stop the water from the top going in.
They were trying to plug up the holes, but there was like hundreds of holes all over this fucking mountain. And it was an international effort, like these specialist divers who have done this and have done these long ass dives. It's really good. It's a good crazy story. Good movie.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. So that's on Amazon. Check it out. What else? Anything else?
Did I watch it? I mean, I make a recommendation to watch Space Ice.
Oh yes,
which is not a movie. It's a YouTube channel. This dude loves Jean-Claude Van Damme and does really funny movie reviews. And I don't know. I just thought this dude's voice is like a scream. Like, he talks very stilted, but the shit that he says and how he edits the movies together, these clips are hilarious.
Space Ice on YouTube.
Yeah.
Wait, what about Andor? Are you caught up on Andor? The finale is next week. We are at the
I did catch up on Andor. Yes, I did.
And we'll try to keep it spoiler free. What'd you think? It was kind of a sad episode, but a good setup for this finale.
Remind me what happens, kind of, just really quickly. I know that yeah,
spoilers.
Something happens. Spoiler alert. Something happens, and something happens that when Andor's periphery, that they're going to capitalize to see if that brings him out of hiding.
Correct.
But they don't know that Andor is kind of incapacitated, not incapacitated, but in the middle of something. He's kind of like, he's got his own shit that's going on. He doesn't even, I don't think that they're going to be waiting a while for him to come back if he does indeed do that. So,
man, Anthony's not here, but I know he's not going to listen to this, but I've been dying to talk about fucking all of it. The prison break, the aftermath.
Well, we got one more episode left. So let's just talk about it all when it's over.
Okay.
We're going to want to talk about it again.
I don't even know if he's going to catch up to this thing by next week, but we will discuss regardless. Also, Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special is this week on Friday. Right. So we'll watch that. And we'll talk about that next week. But Andor's still killing it. All right, that's it for this week. Listener, Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
while Twitter still exists, we'll be on there at Really Rug Boy.
You haven't opened a Mastodon yet? What happened? No?
What's a Mastodon?
That's like the new thing where like you make your own server. Everybody's going over to Mastodon as Twitter implodes, which is kind of fun to watch. It's been entertaining.
I think that Twitter should be over because it's a fucking shitty place, and there's shitty people, and the way that it's set up is shitty, and Elon's not improving anything.
No, he's making it shittier a little bit.
He's making it even shittier, which I didn't think was possible.
Right?
I thought there was no way that it could be shittier, and it is.
Fun to watch, though.
But it's his company. He can do whatever the fuck he wants with it, and I hope that it implodes because now we got to get TikTok next. Let's get rid of that.
Boy, what are the kids going to do? They're going to lose their mind.
Maybe like actually, do things like speak to people.
How are the influencers going to make a living? I feel bad for them.
Maybe they'll dance at a club instead of in their room to their phone.
But then
maybe they'll do that,
and everybody can do the same dance because they all know the same dance. So. It'll be great. Anyways, you can also follow us on Twitter at Jock Nerdcast before it goes down. All that stuff you can find in the show notes. Make sure you share the show, listener. It's the most important thing you could do for us. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd podcast. My name is Imran.
My name is my name is Rug Boy.
He is not the Jock. I don't know what he is.
I'm not a jock at all. I have jock itch, and that's about it.
All right. We'll peep you next time.
I'll put some tenactin on it.
Fuck that show.
I put some Lotrimin on it. I was going to say Gynolotrimin. I really don't give a shit.
Jock and Nerd.
You're still here? You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go home. It's over. Get out of here. Go home. All right? Leave. I'm calling the cops. Get out of here. Get out. The ending of Ferris Bueller wasn't that long a thing, but go. Get the fuck out. He didn't say that either, but that's me ad-libbing. Okay? Just go.